Everyone at Riverside High still remembers the moment when the quiet new girl, known for carrying old notebooks and keeping her head down, brought the entire hallway to silence with a single counterstrike. It wasn't the punch that stunned them. It was what happened after the truth about who she really was, why she never fought back before, and the life-changing revelation that made even the bully break down by the end. But to understand how a shy girl ended a cycle of cruelty in 5 seconds, you have to know the story from the beginning. When Mira stepped into Riverside High for the first time, she moved carefully, as if every step might disturb the floor. Her sneakers were worn, her backpack looked older than her, and she kept her gaze fixed on the linoleum tiles as though memorizing each one. She didn't want attention, she wanted a quiet place to breathe. Everything in her life had changed in the last 3 months. Her mother's long illness, the move to a new city, the loneliness that followed her like a shadow, and school felt like just another storm she needed to walk through. She promised herself she would stay invisible, no trouble, no noise, no fights, just survive. But the hallways of Riverside High had their own rules, written by the loudest kids. At the top was Cole Maddox, tall, broad-shouldered, confident, and surrounded by people who followed him the way planets follow a sun. Cole wasn't cruel for fun. He believed he was enforcing order. Anyone who got in his way learned quickly that he didn't like it when someone ignored those unspoken rules. Mira didn't know this. She was simply trying to find her math class. She walked slowly, hugging her books close. Students moved around her, brushing past, whispering, laughing at inside jokes. Mira tried to stay out of everyone's path, but the hallway suddenly narrowed, students clustering, lockers slamming, a crowd building. And there he stood, Cole, leaning against the locker with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. His group stood around him like a wall. Mira didn't even realize she had stopped directly in front of him. She had paused only because she felt overwhelmed by the noise. Cole crossed his arms. Move. She hadn't heard him. She was staring at her schedule, trying to read the tiny print. Cole stepped forward. Hey, I said move. Still lost in her schedule, she murmured. Sorry, I'm just looking for room 208. The hallway grew quieter. Cole's expression changed annoyance, hardening into something sharper. Are you ignoring me? I told you to move. Mira looked up finally, startled. No, I didn't. I'm new. I didn't know I was blocking. You should have moved when I asked. He stepped closer. She stepped back. Students around them slowed down, curious. Someone whispered, "He's gonna snap." Someone else said, "Poor girl. She has no idea who she's talking to." Mira didn't want this. She wasn't even scared of him, she was scared of conflict itself. Scared of raising her voice, scared of becoming the kind of person she used to be before everything changed. She swallowed. "I really didn't mean—" Cole cut her off. Too late. And before Mira could stop it, before she could breathe, his fist shot forward, hitting her shoulder hard enough to knock her back into a locker. A gasp rippled through the hallway. Her books fell. Her backpack slid off her shoulder. A sharp pain burned across her arm, but the shock was sharper. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just stared at him, stunned that someone would hit a stranger for something so small. But more than that, she felt the familiar old instinct she had tried so hard to bury. The instinct her mother had begged her to control before she died. The instinct that made Mira dangerous when pushed too far. Cole leaned over her, expecting fear. "Next time, listen." Mira bent down slowly, picking up her books. Her heart wasn't racing, it was steady, almost too steady. She whispered so softly that only he heard, "I really didn't want this." Cole scoffed. "Want what?" Mira lifted her eyes, and for the first time there was a spark behind them. Not anger, not rage, something colder, something trained. Cole opened his mouth to say something else, maybe another threat, maybe another shove, but he didn't get the chance. Mira moved. Fast. With a precision no one expected, she shifted her weight, stepped in, and delivered a single counterstrike to his torso, controlled, measured, not reckless. Cole stumbled backward, air rushing out of him, shock spreading across his face as he slid down the lockers. Gasps, silence, eyes wide. The shy new girl had dropped the school's strongest bully with one calculated movement. But the moment it happened, Mira stepped back, trembling not from fear, but from the fear of herself. She hadn't wanted to fight. She hadn't wanted anyone to see that part of her. She had promised her mother she'd never use what she learned unless her life depended on it. And now, the entire hallway was staring. Cole didn't get up immediately. He wasn't injured, just stunned, looking up at her as though seeing something he'd never seen in anyone before. For the first time in years, he felt small. And maybe, for the first time ever, he realized that his rules weren't the only rules that mattered. As teachers rushed forward and phones quietly slipped into pockets, Mira stood frozen. She hated this. Not because she hit him, but because now everyone would want to know who she really was. And that was the one thing she was desperate to hide. The office was cold, too bright, too silent. Mira sat in a stiff chair, hands folded tightly, replaying the moment again and again. She didn't regret defending herself, but she regretted being seen. Every time she remembered the way Cole looked at her, confused, betrayed, almost scared, she felt a knot of guilt twisting inside her. She had spent years trying to erase that part of her life, but today it surfaced without warning. Principal Harris walked in, sighing heavily as he sat across from her. He was older, tired, but kind. "Mira, the teachers told me what happened. Several students gave statements too. You were hit first. You reacted in self-defense." He paused. "But the way you reacted, you used a technique most adults don't even know." Mira kept her eyes down. "I'm sorry." Mira hesitated. The truth was long and painful. Her mother had been a self-defense instructor, one of the best in their city. After Mira's father left, her mother raised her alone, juggling jobs to survive. She trained Mira not because she wanted her daughter to fight, but because the world wasn't always kind.